up, you guys? Welcome back. Today we are doing a Shop My Stash with some highlights from the last couple of weeks. And I'm going to do the Shop My Stash a little bit differently this time. You'll have to stay tuned if you kind of want to see what I'm going to do. But I'm doing a makeup challenge on Instagram with my buddy Britt. So I'm going to kind of tweak things a little bit. I want to get a little bit more creative, right? And this week proved that to be a teensy bit difficult. So first, I'm going to go through some of the products that I've been using since my last update, giving you some thoughts on those. I have actually hit pan in several things these last couple of weeks. I am so excited. So we're going to go through these, and then I will have timestamps down below if you're just interested in watching me kind of shop my stash and pick out some new stuff. That timestamp will be down below, but let's go ahead and jump into the older stuff. I have my tray, and I will say, I had pulled out some stuff from the Shit That Doesn't Fit bag. I pulled out a couple of foundations, a couple of primers, and a concealer, and a powder. I don't know what my deal was. I don't know if my skin was just exceptionally dry these last couple of weeks. I don't know what exactly happened. They didn't work well for me though. I will say, I much preferred this combination of the Smashbox Photo Finish Foundation Primer and then the Too Faced Do You, and then the Milk Blur Stick and the Beauty Blender Bounce. I did really prefer those two combinations. However, the Too Faced Do You kind of had, I don't like, it clung to dry patches, but like in like a flaky way, not in just like a cling way. It was really bizarre, and I don't know if it was just my skin or if it was this. I don't know, did they change their formula? Because I remember I had one of these and I loved it. It was one of my favorite foundations. And so I don't quite know what happened with that. I'm definitely going to have to pull this out again very soon in the future. It's in the Shit That Doesn't Fit bag, so it will be pulled out very soon in the future to give it another try, because I don't know what happened with this. I really don't. I pulled in two palettes, both Natasha Denona, the Natasha Denona Bronze, which this one is... It was a newer palette. It was a little bit more difficult to work with than I expected. And this shade right here, the Bounce Cream Glow, I don't like Bounce products. They're so hard to get like any pigment out of. And as you can see, I had to like dig in there. I'm not a big fan of like Bounce Cream products. This one overall was a little bit more difficult to work with than I thought it was going to be. The tones are a bit dark. On my light skin tone, it just takes a little bit more like finessing to try to make it not have like a pure orange, you know? So I did like this highlight. This is obviously like my most used in this palette. Right now it's gonna go back into my collection, but it will be pulled out again soon because I don't have a pan in this palette yet. The Natasha Denona Bloom palette, this is an older palette, and I had used this a lot in the past. I did end up hitting pan in this, which I'm thrilled about. I will talk to you more about that in my next pan that in every palette video, but that one worked out really well for me. I freaking love that palette. I also, from the Shit That Don't Fit bag, used the Becca Soft Light Blurring Powder in Golden Hour. I have such a love-hate relationship with this because the packaging of this is terrible. It gets everywhere, and I mean everywhere. I waste like, so I'm down to this much powder. I waste so much powder every time I use this because because of the fact that this has this big lip, there's no way to like get the powder back in there, so it all kind of gets, I mean, do you see, like, and then you've got all this excess powder in there, and it's just such a pain. This is one of the messier powders that I think I've used, like loose powders. I'm not a fan of this. I will end up finishing it up because I want to, but I would not repurchase that one at all. I also had the Item Beauty Item Cheek Money in Mood Vibes. Oh my god, this was like a random find from Ipsy, and I love this. This is so beautiful. It's like this duo contour shade. This was one of my highlights from this week. So stinking beautiful. And also a highlight, the ColourPop Land Super Shock Cheek in Gummy More. I actually ended up hitting pan on this one as well. This is so beautiful. It's so gorgeous, and you can build it up so easily. And I like the formula of these because I can put these over like a powder, and even though it's like this cream to powder formula, the formula allows for you to do that and kind of build it up without affecting like the foundation or the powder underneath. And I personally don't think it makes it look like weird or textured or anything like that. And this is so gorgeous. I love it. For eyes, I'm trying to think if I had any like standout eye products. The Natasha Denona Eyebrow Shadow, I ended up hitting pan in this this go around, which this is a pretty, like, it's buried deep in there, but I think it was because I was using obviously like an eyebrow brush. It kind of just tunneled its way down, but I love this powder. It is seriously so much better than I expected it to be. Beyond that, I don't really think I have any like crazy big standout highlights. I will say I ended up using up the Smashbox lip liner that I had pulled in completely, and I swapped in the NYX retractable lip liner in Nude. This is actually pretty good. I've been liking this. And the ColourPop Luxe Lip Oil, because I started out with 3 lip products. That I spoke about in my empties video for January because the tip actually broke off, and so unfortunately I wasn't able to use that anymore. So I was stuck with these 2 lip products. This is what I'm wearing today. I've talked about this. I talked about this in my last video. I don't love it. I don't love it. But the Too Faced Metallic, the Too Faced Melted Matte-talic Liquefied Metallic Matte Lipstick. Oh my god. Okay, this is in the shade Faking It, and you guys know I'm not super big into metallic lips, and for whatever reason, I think this is stunning. This was a standout lippy for me this week. I freaking loved it. Beyond that, everything was pretty good. There weren't like a ton of like standouts, I don't think. It was just kind of like nice everyday makeup. I did begin the 2 weeks with 2 eyeshadow palettes from my Pan and Every palette, the ColourPop Monage et Moi and then the ColourPop Fade into Hue. I ended up hitting Pan in both of these palettes, and then while I was doing like the makeup challenge on Instagram the 4 weeks of February, I ended up just pulling in random palettes that I needed to make specific looks. So I ended up hitting Pan in both of these. I will be showing you which pans in the Pan and Every palette video. Update number 2 that I think will come in March. Oh, no, it'll be at the end of this month. So you will see an update there, and make sure you are subscribed so you don't miss that update. So in this round, I'm going to go ahead and pick out my new makeup for the next couple of weeks. February is like a shorter month, so it's a bit weird because this is gonna have to last me like 2.5 weeks. So in choosing my products this time, I'm going to kind of give a little bit more attention to the prompts in the makeup challenge that we're doing. I wanna make sure that I have focus items for each prompt, and I wanna make sure that I'm still able to do a variety of looks, things like that. I think this upcoming week is going to be a lot of like nude eyeshadow looks, which I don't do a lot of, so I'm probably gonna end up bringing in like 1 or 2 nude eyeshadow palettes. But then because of how long this Shop Your Stash is gonna be, because February is such a short month, I'm probably going to have to bring in stuff for the next prompt too. As always, I do retain the right to bring in other things as I need them if I want to do a specific makeup look, but ideally I'll be able to get as much as I can doing my little shopping this round. So let's go ahead and get started with that. Okay, so obviously skincare and mascaras are staying the same for right now. I went ahead and pulled out 2 new foundations, 2 new primers, a powder and a concealer from the Shit That Don't Fit bag. So I'll go ahead and share this with you because that was an experience. So I pulled out 2 primers. The Huda Beauty Complexion Perfection Pre-Makeup Base. This one has some usage to it. Obviously, in the end, I'd like to use it up because it is in the Shit That Don't Fit bag. I really like this primer, actually. It's very moisturizing. I've had a lot of good luck with it, so hopefully that'll work out for me. And then I also pulled out the Illamasqua Hydra Veil. This is probably a couple years old now, if I had to guess. And it's one of those a gel bounce texture, I guess. I really like this one, and there isn't, I don't know how well you guys can see it, there isn't a whole lot left. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to use it up completely during the Shop My Stash cycle, but because this one is 2.5 weeks, if I really focus on this one, I might be able to, which will be nice because this is a rather large packaged primer, but you know, wish me luck with that one. For foundation, I have one that is like pretty brand new. However, it's only 0.28 ounces. So this one, if a regular like 1 ounce foundation takes me a month to 1.5 to get through, this would probably only take me a couple of weeks. This is the Milani Cream to Powder Foundation in Creamy Nude. I've not tried this yet. I'm very excited to, and obviously if I can get through it, that would be superb because the quicker I can get through this stuff, the better. There is only 0.28 fluid ounces of product in there, which is like literally, it's such a small amount. So I do have a good feeling about that. I also have a good feeling about this though. This is the Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Finish Foundation in 2 Neutral. I have raved about this on my channel. This is one of my favorite foundations. It is wildly, outrageously expensive though, and I'm almost done with it. I've been shaking it this whole time that I've been talking, so you can't really tell, but the bottle is almost empty. So ideally, in a perfect world, use up both of these this round. I don't know. I have no faith in that happening, but you never know. It could. There's not a lot of product in this one to begin with, and there's not a lot of product left in this one. We'll have to see how it goes, but you know, optimism is key if you're gonna do project pans or things like Shit That Don't Fit bags. Optimism is 100% key because you have to have that faith in yourself. For concealer, I have the Wet n Wild Photo Focus Concealer in Light Ivory. This is a smaller packaged concealer. It's 0.29 fluid ounces. It's just kind of, it's one of my older concealers. So many of my concealers are new or newer. This is one of the older ones that I have, so I went ahead and pulled this out. There's not a whole lot of product left in here either, so I literally just like reached in and grabbed the first like foundations, primers, and concealers that I could find, and I feel like I did pretty well for myself in grabbing things that had actual usage, so I'm feeling pretty good about that. And then for powder, this one is, it's not brand new, but I've only used it a couple of times, and it's 0.9 ounces of loose powder. But this is the Anastasia Beverly Hills Loose Setting Powder in Vanilla. It's gonna be an interesting one. It's going to be an interesting one because this thing is massive, and that's why it's in here. It's just so oversized. It won't fit in my drawer the way that I want it to, so. And I was actually thinking to myself, as I've been getting like a few new things here and there from subscription boxes and from some shopping that won't fit exactly how I want it to fit, I was like, should I add this to the bag? And then I was like, no, I'm gonna do this round, and then we can go through and see if we wanna do like a round 2 or something like that. So, moral of the story, this is going to be my powder for the next couple of weeks. I'm also going to reach behind me and grab a setting spray. This is the Urban Decay All Nighter Summer Solstice, so this is what I'll be using for the next couple of weeks, which is good because I love the Urban Decay All Nighter. I just talked about this too. And the Summer Solstice is just one of the limited edition scents that they came out with, and this one is relatively full, so we'll go ahead and get some use out of this guy. And now we are going to move over to the actual drawers full of makeup. So our first kind of shopping stop today is one of my face palette drawers. I've got a couple of face palette drawers, and then I've got some shelves on the other side of my vanity. I'm kind of going for palettes, at least as much as I can. Like, I probably won't be able to do this for eyeshadow palettes because of the prompts that I'm following. But for other palettes, I'm trying to go in order of my pan in every palette list, kind of use it for the Shop My Stash period, and then either switch it out if I hit a pan or put it back if I don't, and then I'll just kind of go through whatever I haven't hit pan in after I'm done with like my first go around of the list. Does that make sense? So the palette at the top of the list this week is the Milani Spotlight Face and Eye Strobe Palette in Candlelight. This one is brand new. I actually got this in a gift with purchase from Ulta a few weeks back, and I have not used it at all. So I'm really excited to try to play around with this. You guys know I'm not the biggest fan of palettes that don't have any set lines that differentiate like separate pans and things like that, and they are all kind of mixed in like this. I don't love that, but we're gonna go ahead and give it a shot, and we'll see what we think. For this drawer, please ignore any mess you see on the floor. I'm currently in the middle of cleaning up the makeup room again. So for my like base eye drawer, there's a couple things that I'm gonna grab for prompts. Not everything though. So the first thing I'm gonna do is grab an eye primer, and I think I'm gonna go ahead and grab one of these pencils because one of the prompts is an eye pencil, and this is kind of what I think of when I think of an eye pencil. So I'm gonna grab this one. This is the Charlotte Tilbury Color Chameleon Champagne Diamonds for blue eyes. So I'm gonna use this as my eye primer base. The pencil itself has been sharpened so many times because I love this. It needs to be sharpened again before I can use it, obviously. But this is such a pretty eye base, especially if you're going to do nude looks, which we're going to be doing a lot of this week. So I'm going to go ahead and pull this little guy out. I am going to pull out just a standard eye primer as well. I think I'm going to go with the Morphe Eyelid Primer in Translucent because this one just needs to be shown a little bit more love. Now for eyebrows, I'm just gonna go ahead and do what I normally do. I'm gonna reach in and grab one at random. Reach in, grab one at random. You can't see me, but I'm not looking. And then reach in, grab one at random. So what do we have here? We have the KVD Vegan Beauty. This is the 24-hour Super Brow in dark brown. This is a pomade. I have a lot of use in this, but I'm always happy to use it a little bit more. And then I also, for brows, have the UOMA Baby Hair Brow Pencil. I really like this one actually. That's the spoolie side. I really like this one actually. I've gotten some good use out of this, and it's a really nice brow pencil. I love the slim pencils, so I'm pretty happy about that one as well. Eyeliners, I ended up picking up the Milk Makeup Longwear Gel Eyeliner. This is in the shade Boss, which is just an opaque black shade. And then we have the ColourPop BFF Cream Gel Liner in Overboard. This is a really beautiful copper shade, and that is gonna look so good with nude eyeshadow looks or like neutral eyeshadow looks. So I'm actually really excited about that. And then we have the Il Makiage Ink Liner Conditioner Black. This one is a brand new. I just got this from an Ipsy shopper purchase and I'm so thrilled. Like the tip on this is so beautiful. So I'm very excited to be able to get to use this a little bit. So for week 3 for the makeup challenge I'm doing, the whole point of it is to really amplify your lashes and use false lashes. Obviously, I'm not the best at using false lashes. I'll be the first to admit that. But we are going to give it a go. We're going to try it out. So this week I am actually going to end up picking out some false lashes to use. And I think trying to figure out like what would be maybe the easiest to do, you know what I mean? I think I'm gonna go with Ardell. Okay, this is the Ardell All the Wispies little holiday pack collection that for whatever reason I ended up picking up. I'm gonna go ahead and pull this out and we're gonna try to use some of these wispies. I also need glue, don't I? This should tell you how much I don't do this. I'm gonna pull out a couple of glues and maybe play around with them. So I've got like this little duo and then I have a little Eyelid London lash fix. So we'll play around with both of these and see how we like those. One of the other prompts is actually a colored mascara. I don't have a colored mascara, so I'm just gonna have to use like my regular black mascara, which really surprises me because I know I used to have colored mascaras from like ColourPop. And I guess I don't anymore. So that one I'm going to have to skip and just kind of focus on like my regular mascara, I guess. So I've gone through some of my eyeshadow palettes because one of the prompts is nude eyeshadow. So I want to make sure that I'm using some neutral eyeshadow looks at the very least for the upcoming week. And then, you know, we'll try to hit pan in some of these. We'll see if we can get any progress made. I'm going to go with 3. So I have the Charlotte Tilbury, the Luxury Palette of Pops in Pillow Talk. This one I have used quite a bit of, so I wouldn't be surprised if I hit in a pan. In this round, I love this palette though. It is absolutely stunning and it's just a cute little quad. This one is brand new. This is the Juvia's Place, the Nudes by Juvia's. I wasn't going to bring this in this time, but I opened it up and just was stunned. These little 6-pan palettes that Juvia's Place did are absolutely beautiful. I cannot believe it. So I'm going to be pulling in this one as well. And then I'm also going to pull in the Too Faced Natural Lust because the Too Faced Natural Love palette I already have a pan in, so I'm not working on that for this project. This one I don't though. This one I've only used a couple of times and I like this because it's got a bunch of nude shades, but then it also has a little bit of pop of color in here. So once I'm done with a nude shade like prompt, I can still go ahead and try to use this to do some other like colorful looks too, or just something a little bit different. So I'm gonna end up pulling in 3 eyeshadow palettes this week. Hopefully I'll be able to make some progress on some of them. We'll have to see how it goes. Either way though, I think this is gonna be perfect to do some neutral eyeshadow looks with. Okay, in this drawer I have concealers and primers. Obviously I don't need to bring in a concealer like or a primer, but I am gonna go ahead and pull out a color corrector because I do need one of those. So I'm gonna go ahead and pull out the e.l.f. color correcting pen. This one is in Brighten Shadows. This is so close to being empty and I don't have a ton of room in my concealer drawer, so I need to start working through some of my color correctors. So we'll go ahead and see if we can finish off this one. Now we have the bronzer drawer. So I'm trying to think about what would be really good for just like a base, like a nice light bronzed glow type of thing. I'm actually really having a hard time deciding, to be honest with you, because I want to use something a little bit different as well. But I think I'm going to go with the old classic. I think I'm going to go with the Too Faced. This is the Chocolate Soleil in Milk Chocolate. This is such a beautiful bronze. I'm very close to hitting pan on this one actually because I adore this so much. And I don't know. It gives me such a beautiful contour / bronze look depending on kind of how I use it. And I think that this is going to be a good one. Okay, so for blush, I definitely, because it's Valentine's Day, right? I want something really nice. I want something like bright pink, and I want something that is just going to add a really nice glow to my look. So I think I'm going to pull in a couple. I think I'm going to pull in the Milani Cheek Kiss Liquid Blush in Rose Romance. And then I also think I'm going to pull in This is perfect. This is a really old Stila Love at First blush, kind of blush palette thing. And I think these two together are gonna be so cute, or like separately, however you wanna do it. This just has such a beautiful shimmer in it, and I love that. So I think these are gonna be great for just a couple of weeks surrounding Valentine's Day. And then for highlights, I really just want something maybe with like a pinky undertone to it. I'm not 100% sure. I'm gonna go ahead and pull in this one. This is the Milk Makeup Holographic Highlighting Powder. This is in the Mars shade. This is really nice, and it has almost like a peach undertone to it, but it still has some holographic shine in it. So I'm gonna go ahead and pull this one out. It's not exactly what I had in mind, but it is very pretty. And let's go ahead and get some more use in this guy. Moving on to lips. I know for sure I need to grab a red lipstick because that is one of the prompts. Beyond that, I'm just going to, I actually don't think I'm gonna grab at random this time. I think I'm gonna focus on red lips because it is Valentine's Day. So I think I'm gonna do 2 red lips, 1 nude. In the gloss drawer, oh my god, yes. This is the House Laboratories La Riot Lip Gloss in Work. This is so beautiful. Definitely a gorgeous red shade. So I'm gonna go ahead and pull this one out of this drawer. Then out of this drawer, I think this is gonna be kind of where I pick out a nude from, because I want to make sure that I'm not just dealing with red lipsticks the whole time. Actually, I think I'm gonna end up pulling out, this is the Nude Sticks Lip Glaze in Nude, but it's kind of a darker type nude, and it kind of has like almost a pinkish undertone to it, you know? So I'm gonna go ahead and pull this one out, and we will give this one some love. And then for red lipstick, I do have a few different ones. Unfortunately though, most of these you can't tell the shade from where they are located. Oh my gosh, yes, this is perfect. I'm gonna pull out the Marc Jacobs La Marque lipstick. This is from the Cherryrific collection, and this is in the shade Oh Miley. This is a gorgeous red shade. So absolutely stunning. This will definitely be a beautiful red lip for the next couple of weeks. Okay, I'm actually really excited about my picks. It's really interesting trying to pick out stuff that I want to get some use out of and show some love to for like a couple week span, while also trying to pick out prompts for like week-long makeup challenges. It's very interesting, but I like it because it's challenging, it's exciting, it brings joy into doing makeup, you know what I mean? So all in all, I think this weekly makeup drawer is a good drawer. Obviously it does last for longer than a week, but I'm excited. I think there's some really good products in here. I'm very excited to show some love to some new stuff, use some old stuff, and I like that I have like a mix this time, but also kind of a way to go with different looks and things like that. I feel like the last everyday makeup drawer I did lasted so long, and I feel like part of that though was because I hit pan on my palettes, started this makeup challenge, and then like was bringing in so much outside stuff. Like week span type thing for this particular everyday makeup drawer I think is even longer, but that's why I wanted to bring in lots of different choices. So my drawer right now is literally, oh, it's literally overflowing. There's just makeup everywhere, but I'm very excited, and hopefully it will get some good usage out of stuff. Hopefully we'll be able to form some new opinions. Hopefully we'll be able to move some shit out of the shit that don't fit bag. I'm actually really pleased with how this all turned out. So that is what is in my current everyday makeup drawer from this point forward. I will be posting tons of makeup of the days on my Instagram, flat lays and pictures of my pretty face. So make sure you are following me on Instagram if you're interested in checking those out. Also, make sure you give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Make sure you hit that bigger subscribe button if you'd like to see more of me, and I will catch you guys next time. Have a great one.